Taylor has a head basketball coach, and it's Mike Malone. The guy everyone expected North Carolina to hire, except for the University of North Carolina. So, Taylor, how do you feel today? Because it should be a celebratory day for you. You got a guy who won an NBA championship, and yet it seems like you're as down as ever on North Carolina.
Yeah, so I think that's a mutual feeling right now with the entire Carolina fan base, where all this coaching search, we heard North Carolina is going to hire somebody with extensive experience at the college level. I'm looking at Mike Malone's resume. He has not coached college basketball since 2001.
Wow. Where was he then?
Manhattan.
What?
The Jaspers.
Powerhouse.
The Jaspers, yeah.
So I think the best word to kind of describe this Carolina hiring just feels like settled. Mike Malone was there. Mike Malone's daughter plays on the volleyball team. Mike Malone has been in Chapel Hill and says, you know what, I've dropped my daughter off here a couple of times. This would be a nice place to live. And so that's where Carolina went.
That's kind of all you need right now in the NIL age, because you have other people. You have a GM, right? You have people managing the roster. You just need a good X's and O's guy and a guy who gets across to young men. That part I have no idea if Michael Malone can do, but he has won at an NBA level, and instead you would have preferred a guy in Billy Donovan who hasn't won anything at an NBA level?
No, so just to be clear, I didn't want Billy Donovan. I wanted either of Iowa or Iowa State's head coaches.
Right. Well, you wanted Tommy Lloyd to begin with. That was
Tommy Lloyd.
Right. And now you no longer do.
Yes.
Right.
Tommy Lloyd or Dusty May. The problem is those two teams just kept on winning.
Yeah.
Wait a second. You wanted a Tommy or a Dusty?
Yeah.
Get yourself a grown man as a head coach, man. Michael.
So then I turned to the Grant McCaslin from Texas Tech, Byington from Vanderbilt. The problem with those guys is their buyouts were reported $10 million. Ben McCollum from Iowa's buyout was only $5 million. Ben McCollum just flat out refused to interview with North Carolina. That's where we're kind of at right now. A guy who lives lifelong in Iowa is now telling a school like North Carolina he's too good for them.
Yep.
So, Izzy, I'm glad you mentioned the NIL aspect, because if you are looking for a positive here, it's Mike Malone doesn't have a buyout. So the $9 million buyout for Tommy Lloyd or the $10 million buyout on Texas Tech or Vanderbilt's coach, take that money, North Carolina, reinvest it into the portal, and make sure you're giving Michael, sorry.
Yes.
I've heard plenty.
There's one Michael there. He better call himself Mike, okay? I mean.
I've heard 40 times already that Michael Malone doesn't like being called Mike Malone.
Right. The reason he doesn't have a buyout is because he didn't have a job.
Correct.
Sitting there, feels like desperation. I have to be honest. Yeah.
It does. It does. I think one thing, and this could just be out of nowhere, but one of the things that makes a good regular, like long-term college head coach, he almost has to be a lot about himself, right? He has to be a little bit of look at me, because you sort of take all the blame, all the pressure, everything about being a college head coach, and you just put it on yourself.
You have to be Dan Hurley.
Yeah, you have to be Dan Hurley.
Yep.
And Michael Malone has a little bit of that in him. He's got a little bit of the look at me in him. Even to the sideline reporter, I'm Michael, not Mike. Like, even that's a little bit of look at me. And so I think it suits him well as long as he's got the talent to create some sort of winner.
So I've seen some of his interviews, and he does seem pretty charismatic, and that was something that was kind of a knock on Hubert Davis, that Hubert Davis didn't really want to take any part in the fundraising aspect of college basketball, which in the NIL era is kind of crazy to even say for a head coach. Izzy, but my worry with Michael Malone is, say he does have success at North Carolina, what is stopping him from taking the next NBA job opening? Because
absolutely nothing.
It doesn't Exactly. It doesn't really feel like this is a coach who sees his end game being North Carolina and Chapel Hill, where that could be something different if you hired somebody who was like this lifelong college coach.
I wouldn't be too worried about that just from this standpoint. If he is going to get the next NBA job available, it's because he's done a little something at North Carolina, right? He's not going to come in, pull a Bill Belichick, and then next year be like, I'm going to go coach the Knicks. No, that's just not going to happen, because people will say, oh, okay, you couldn't even do anything over there. Obviously, you had a champion in Denver, and they moved away from you. So there are some question marks there. Now, if he comes out and is successful over 2 or 3 years, makes a Final Four, maybe a championship run, then yeah, he will be courted by all the NBA teams. But you as a program can say, hey, look, we got this guy who wasn't even really interested in our program, and look where we got. All we need is to hire the right basketball mind this next time, again, and we will be successful. And so, yeah, it will just go to show you that Hubert was just not the basketball mind you needed. You just need the right guy.
So what he's telling you, Taylor, is Mike Malone is a 3-year stopgap. Congratulations. I mean,
he's either going to be that. Because
how much longer is his daughter at school? That's a key thing. And by the way, if you're his daughter, do you want dad roaming around campus? Because I don't. I mean, that gets old quickly and embarrassing.
It's the premise of a show I just started watching with Steve Carell called Rooster on Apple TV.
Right.
But yes, I wouldn't want that either. I'm looking into the transfer portal if I'm young Miss Malone.
Are you really?
Oh, absolutely. I don't want my dad following me around. I just found freedom. Look at me. I'm having athletic success.
Can't get rid of this guy.
Yeah, get out of here.
It'd be funny if she went to Arizona.
With Tommy?
Izzy, you say we have to be worried about him pulling a Belichick. Just for reference, Bill Belichick went 4-8.
Yeah.
That phone is dry right now for Bill
but
Belichick.
he's saying, what Izzy is saying is if Michael Malone has success at North Carolina, he will garner NBA interest. And so that's a good thing for you. That means your coach and your program had success over the 2 to 3 years that he's going to be there. So,
But
right.
if he doesn't, if he pulls a Belichick, which go the basketball equivalent of whatever 4-8, then he won't be getting another job, at least from the NBA, and you'll be stuck with this guy, and you'll be like, what am I supposed to do with Michael Malone?
So if he wins, he leaves. If he loses, you're stuck with him. Huh.
It's a weird spot for Carolina to be in because, again, this move is something that's not being received well by the fan base, where you're saying, hey, North Carolina, we have a Super Bowl winning coach, a multiple-time Super Bowl winning coach, and now an NBA champion coaching both our football and basketball team. And Carolina fans are like, get both of them out right now.
Listen, if there's a 7-foot Serbian prospect out there that might want to go to college in the United States, University of North Carolina has a heads up on that.
Would Carolina fans take Hubert Davis back right now?
No. Okay, so that was something also I made a point to make a note of.
Right.
Michael Malone is still infinitely times better an upgrade over Hubert Davis.
Man, his poor daughter. Seriously. I mean, she has to call mom and be like, Mom, what are we doing here? I mean, I don't want dad hanging around campus.
I'm trying to figure out, Taylor, has there been conversation about this? Because, UNC is all about the alums and them sort of taking over. And I was starting to think to myself, hey, are there any UNC alumni in coaching right now that would be a great hire there? Did they even think about Jerry Stackhouse? Because he's been an assistant coach for a little bit now, and he might just want to do the NBA thing. But if I'm UNC, I'm intrigued by Jerry Stackhouse.
So I don't want to say they didn't consider Jerry Stackhouse because, again, the Michael Malone thing kind of came out of completely left field. But from my understanding, Stackhouse's time at Vanderbilt went so poorly that it kind of removed his name off the board. But, yes, in an ideal world, North Carolina would have hired somebody off of the Roy Williams, Dean Smith coaching tree. The problem with that coaching tree right now, the branches are few and barren. It's like Wes Miller would have been the guy like 4 seasons ago when he was at UNC Greensboro. Then he goes to Cincinnati, gets fired from Cincinnati, and now he's coaching UNC Charlotte.
It is fairly amazing, Izzy. This is a job that most people would have quit their jobs in order to be the head coach at North Carolina, and North Carolina feels like it went to the, 6th or 7th guy on their list, and as Taylor pointed out, completely out of left field. And that's strange when you consider the history of the North Carolina basketball program.
Well,
it's odd,
with
man.
no context, without the North Carolina history and their poll, and you say, hey, they got a guy out of left field, they actually got the most qualified guy there is. The man has been, a college coach. He's been an NBA coach. He's been an NBA champion. He's been, an NBA, maybe not runner-up, but he's, made the playoffs and succeeded several other times. Like, he's got the probably best resume, but in terms of fit, doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense.
He's also been a guy without a job for 2 years. How about that?
Plenty of time to interview for this job. If I asked you guys, who is Carolina's last All-Star in the NBA? Do you guys have any guesses there?
Ooh, their last All-Star. Zion
Last
Carolina.
Zion went to Duke. I mean, last Carolina All-Star. Wow, this is a tough one. Psycho T? I mean,
It's not. It's not Vince, right?
No, Vince Carter's last All-Star game was in 2007. They had 2 in
Give me the year.
2008.
2008.
That's their last All-Star when they had 2 in 2008.
Felton never made an All-Star game,
there's
did
no
he?
way.
No.
I mean, if he did, they should cancel the All-Star game.
Ugh. All right, who were they?
The 2 All-Stars were Antoine Jamison and Rasheed Wallace. Those are the last 2 All-Stars from Carolina.
glory
Guys that
days,
played in the 90s.
Yes.
Anton Jamison, underrated NBA player.
Great scorer.
I think he's the highest scoring player to not make the Hall of Fame.